This is the very first images shot with Google Glass. And I think that Google Glass might be the singularity because this is the kind of technology that is going to change everything forever. I'm so excited to be trying this out, and so I'm running around trying to get used to all of the different settings. And I wanted to show you a little bit of the very first captures because I think this is going to be a record moment in our history as far as what we will be able to share with our viewers when we go out and are working with the cats, because my hands will be completely free. This is mounted on my face and it's activated by voice, which makes it so much easier for us to share with you what's going on and still be safe around the animals.
She still hasn't eaten really in 6 days, so.
Did Dr. Wynn ever get a clarification on the blood work?
Yeah, she's in like really bad.
She's the one that's in renal
And
failure because they weren't sure.
They redid it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're taking Cypress in.
Okay, note to self, hair blowing in front of the camera and putting my hands out where I can see them in front of the camera is probably not a good idea.
What is Cypress? About 10. We'll be in 5. Okay.
Thank you.
Food. I was going to get it. Should I do it or?
I can grab it for you, no problem.
Joe, your job is to pull her off of Jamie's face if she turns around and laughs.
Oh, she blinked.
Since I had taken the glass right out of the box, put it on my head, and run out to capture all of this video, it was already dead, so it's on the charger, and these images I'm actually shooting with my iPhone 5, which has always done a great job for me, but you can see I'm moving it around a little bit more freely than what I can when I have the glass on my head. This is one of these situations where a lot of people have complained about the battery life on glass, and I can see how that's going to be a huge problem until they get that fixed.
Yeah. Is that because she digs in there, or that you have? Oh, she's full of poo. Oh, yeah. This is like, just feel this, Carol. There's definitely yucky, grindy feeling things. Okay, let's look at her other little side.
It's had a few minutes to charge, so I put it back on my head and back into the x-ray room. This is really going to take some practice to try and make sure that I keep the lens on the glass focused at what it is that I'm trying to see, not doing things like looking at my feet or looking at other people and shaking my head around.
A measurement of the most narrow part of her canal. This should be a box with a center here, so this should be a box when it goes up and crosses again. So if this healed straight and this healed straight, it would be like this. But this back break healed this way, this front break healed this way. So that's where the narrow is. I can take that out to show you without it.
And you said it's how
So
much space
see,
in centimeters?
1.2.
And it should be
Probably, well,
2 something?
like really would probably be
Yeah.
almost 3.
About the size of the poop, really. Although
Yeah.
not that
Yeah,
large.
yeah. I mean, you're right, Jamie. But look, that's all
poor
backed up
baby.
poop. And that's solid like a rock. As far as like, it's just compacting harder and harder against each other. So that's why she stopped eating, because she doesn't have space left.
Do you think you can get it out?
I can try. I can try.
That's what Jamie and I were talking about, is maybe putting her outside where she can actually get some exercise, put her on a ground diet. She'll obviously never be able to be released, but we won't know whether or not she'll be happy living in a cage until she's not in that
In the
tiny hospital
hospital.
cage.
Yeah. So wait, let's see.
Goodness knows she hates that.
And I
I really
can't tell
hate
if
the way
that's
that goes
bone.
like that.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it might be less than that, because I did the most, narrow spot to the most narrow spot instead of going across at an angle.
Yeah.
So it's barely a centimeter.
To see if she's eating.
Cats are weird. Sometimes after I'm walking, they're like, "Oh, I can't eat again. Oh, I feel so full." That's really weird. And other times they're like, things like that to the kennel, but that's not even right. This isn't even right to go anywhere. And the last thing we want you to do is wake up cleaning yourself off, because
We don't want any more fur.
yeah. No, obviously, then you put her over and you put her down, and she's
The only time you're ever gonna ever have any shampoo on you.
If you're lucky.
I have bathed a bobcat with shampoo.
Why are your little pants so dry? think it's just because she's not drinking enough.
But we'll put her in the rehab enclosures in a couple of days and feed her mush and see if she'll adapt to being around people. Yeah. So now we're going to have to kind of do the opposite of what we were doing, like being quiet. We'll have to do operant with her and talk to her and see if she'll be tolerant of living in captivity. If she's totally miserable, we'd probably just euthanize her, because you don't want them hurting themselves all the time or being stressed out every single day.
Wild bobcats like try to dig out constantly till their paws are bleeding.
A lot of like Skip, we had that empty cage. Yeah. The whole cage had to have a wire floor in it because he would dig all the time. So we'll see.
And even if she does adapt to captivity, we still are going to have to really keep a close eye on her being able to defecate. Make sure nobody accidentally ever gives her anything with fur or bones.
I can tell already that once people get over the initial shock of looking at this weird thing over my eye, that they kind of forget that it's there and they become more natural. So I think capturing Jamie talking to Joe about what the options were for Cypress was something that I never would have been able to capture with an iPhone or with a big camera stuck in her face. So I think this is going to give us the opportunity to really capture the essence of people being themselves and not being so aware of a camera in the room.
Good morning.
Just like, that and now that.
What would you like this one? Let me try this, I think.
This end is bigger than that, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so
If we try and get this end in first, then we need to swing this end around left to get it.
Careful not to scrape the floor up.
wait, Aaron, take it in.
Look at you guys!
Okay.
Swing it? Does it not swing anymore around?
Yeah, hold on. Go a little further.
That's determination.
Now it's just upside down.
It's perfect. No, I'm kidding. It does need to be flipped over.
You didn't want to use this stuff.
Alright. Do you want it like here or up there?
I guess, unfortunately, right there where all the rest of the furniture is. It's the only place.
Nothing's too difficult now. We got that really
Corner.
Oh, you have to get a little bit through that.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit fine.
Does it go like that or does it go in the corner? I think it goes in a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
It's a nice
As it goes on.
Perfect. This is gonna be like a piece of cake after that one.
Yeah, right?
What is that piece left over there? Were there like little nubs for the shelf to sit on? Nice. So as long as I got a bunch of you in here, can you put the big bookcase maybe up against this wall? I meant so it slide. I think that's backwards.
Oh. Wait, no. Then it has this thing here.
It's kind of weird.
Oh, okay. That's odd.
That is weird. This looks weird.
I think somebody put it together wrong. Yeah. Because it should be finished, like on this end. Huh. Okay. It is what it is.
It's like a backboard.
And
That was from down here.
maybe the little bookcase can come up here against this wall.
You know where this was from?
No.
Trying to avoid sliding.
Yeah.
But you need these PowerPoints up.
You can just set it like a little bit out from the wall.
My aunt had a yard sale, and the things that didn't sell she offered to give to the sanctuary. So that's where the desk and the bookcases and the television and all this stuff is coming from.
Is there anything to set it on, or is it going to go all the way to the floor?
Need help? Yeah.
It's going to be a backbreaker going down.
Step back. Did you just need me to touch it? Hold it.
Well, someone else to stare at the front.
Okay. One more weight on the side.
So I've got this end if you want to just take that.
Are you okay, Erin? Where's it going? I'll just go on the floor right there beside the fridge. Yep.
Well, this turned out to be a failed experiment. I've left it in this video just in case you wanted to suffer through the horrible sound of the wind in the microphone a little bit later on when I start talking about the day, because there were elements of the day that were really sad and really frustrating that I was talking about later on in this video, but I can't go through it again. When I ride back and forth to work on my bike, it's about 40 minutes each way, and I always listen to podcasts during that period of time, things about how to better market our business, the Bulletproof Executive, This Week in Twit, This Week in Technology rather, which is Twit Radio, This Week in Google, a lot of Apple Podcasts, and all of those kinds of things. But I thought this would be a great opportunity at the end of the day to kind of give you a recap of what the day was like, except that the sound is just awful. So I won't be doing this again, but here is the first attempt with Google Glass, and maybe they'll fix that later on. I'm curious about the wind sound on this recording device, if it's better or worse than my phone. I'm on my bike riding, and unfortunately I'm looking into the sun, so I'm trying to go to the side so that I can see a little bit better. Today was a tough day. I got to the sanctuary, and there had been a number of texts going back and forth between Jamie and Gail and Dr. Wynn. And in the process of reading them, I missed the most important one, which was Dr. Wynn's evaluation of Cleopatra, the serval. Cleo's been with us for 17 years, and she, for the last couple of weeks, has been failing in her health. She was doing that weird neck arching thing, and so we were treating her with fluids and B12 shots and thiamine injections and trying to change up her diet a little bit. And she just wasn't eating and was continuing to do worse. Her neck straightened out a little bit better, but still she wasn't eating well. And so we did some blood work a couple days ago, sent that off, and the lab sent back reports that didn't seem
like it could be accurate. She's 17 years old, and it was showing that she was in severe renal failure, which we just didn't expect, even though 17 is the average age for Circle. She was so healthy before, and I don't know, maybe we're in denial, but at any rate, we asked them to double check because we had sent in blood work for Shere Khan the same day, and it seemed like the kind of results that they were giving us were backwards. It seemed like the results were probably mislabeled, but they said no, they had it right, and that she really was in final stages of kidney failure. There's just no reason to make her suffer. So today, we made a decision to euthanize her, put her out of her misery. That was how the day started. And then Dr. Wynn was there for the day, so it was about time that we needed to get new x-rays on Cypress the bobcat. So we took her in to Ehrlich Animal Hospital, and during her physical exam, Dr. Wynn said she could tell that the pelvic canal had healed too tightly for her to pass fur and bones and feathers, which are the kinds of things that she would be eating in the wild. But just to be sure, we took x-rays and found that she was terribly impacted. And so Dr. Wynn, I bet she worked for an hour on the poor cat trying to get her unimpacted. And what we'll do is put her on a ground diet, see how she does with that. It's really, it's sad. It's like a chicken dead in the middle of the road. I've seen that a lot out here, like this big water birds, ibis, laying alongside the road here, like they've been shot out of trees or something. It's not a great neighborhood. At any rate, we'll put her on a ground diet, no fur, no feathers, no bones, and see if she adapts to life in captivity. We'll have to get permission from the Florida Wildlife Commission to let her stay with us. But if they decide that that's okay, then we'll try that. Problem is, adult wild bobcats, like she was, when they come to us as adults, they know what it's like to have been free. And they hate captivity. And will spend most of their time trying to dig out, bloodying their paws in the process. We don't want to put her through that. So we're going to have to watch her really closely and see how she behaves. The good news is that she hates people, but the good news is that when she's in the cat hospital and nobody's around, she's the most calm patient I think we've ever had. And she doesn't try to dig out. So we'll see. And then we had to pick up some furniture for the interns. I'm imagining this background noise is awful, so I'm going to quit this. And went for a walk with my mother. So I try to do that every day that I can. And then have a little bit of sunlight left to get home. It takes me about 40 minutes to ride home. Most of it I can do on the trail. It's just part of it out here where I'm alongside the road that's kind of noisy and obnoxious. Thanks to the masterful negotiation powers of my wonderful husband, Howard Baskin, we were able to purchase the 4 acres next to us, or 3 acres actually, right next to us. And this is property that has a fence that will be much easier for us to access this trail through. So I won't have to be going out onto that little part of the road before getting to the trail. I'll be able to leave the sanctuary, get straight onto this gorgeous nature trail, and then ride all the way home on it. That'll be wonderful. I'm really excited about putting in our new gates as soon as we close on that property. Everything's signed and sealed. We're just waiting for the title work to come through. And I've done searches on it before and know that it's clear. It's no problem in closing on that. I tell you, Howie is the most amazing person. If he has a superpower, I would say it is to be your friend. And I mean, honestly, be your friend with the utmost integrity. And people love working with somebody like that. So he's built a friendship with our neighbor. And over 20 years, I've been trying to buy that property. Howie's been around for the last 10, and he finally managed to make it happen. I'm over the moon excited about that. Really happy to have that property. It'll give us extra room for interns, and our intern program is just growing in leaps and bounds. And these people work just unbelievably long hours, and they're so dedicated. They come here from all around the world. And the best part is that when they leave here, I feel like we're seeding the planet with people who understand that these animals are individuals and they should be treated with respect and not bred for life in cages. So I love the intern program, love that it's doing so well. In fact, we took Joe Atkins, one of our interns, with us when we took Cypress the bobcat in today. And this is my first day wearing glass, and I really hope to record a bunch of film of Cypress at the vet's office. But the things you have to do to a cat or any animal when they're impacted is pretty disgusting and not the kind of stuff that I think anybody would want to see on YouTube. So I did not record most of it. Did x-rays and carrying the cat, fighting the cat, things that weren't disgusting. I also did not, the main reason that I wanted Google Glass is because usually it's Jamie and I, or Jamie Gale and I, who go in to catch a cat when they're ill that can't be caught in their lockout. It's a whole lot easier if we can get them to go in lockout and then just move them into a transport, but that doesn't always work. So with the smaller cats, we do go in with nets and gloves. We have to catch them in the net and then get them into the squeeze cage. And when I'm doing that, I either can film them and can't help, or I help, drop the camera, and I don't get the film. And so having this mounted to my head, it's a whole lot lighter weight than a GoPro and a lot easier to operate. And so I think it's going to really give us some great video. So I had thought today we were going into Cleo's cage to catch her again and give her more fluids and shots. I didn't realize that her blood work had come in saying that there just was no hope for her. So we decided to euthanize her in her enclosure, where she's always been as happy as you can be in a cage and didn't have to go through the stress of being caught and transferred to a cage and transferred to the cat hospital, and then she's in a very sterile and unfriendly environment for a cat who is meant to be wild. So it was really nice that Dr. Wynn came out to her, and we just caught her in the net. She gave her the sedation drugs to make her sleepy, and once she was fully asleep, then she euthanized her. It was very peaceful. We cried. We always cry. We try to make jokes and such before and after, just so we can deal with the pain, but it is painful. But I didn't use the video capture because I felt like it was just such a personal moment that I couldn't bring myself to share that openly, as much as we have to deal with it as these cats get older. Afterwards, we were feeling of her and looking for the return of the mass that she had a couple years ago. And sure enough, there is a big, nasty bulge that's probably the return of cancer. So Jamie and Dr. Justin will do a necropsy tonight. And the interns are always welcome to come and see what they can learn from that, because a lot of them are vet students or vet tech students, and if you're going to pass out at the sign of a dead cat being necropsied, then that's probably not. You don't want to spend 6 years going to school for something you're not going to be able to stomach. So it's a great opportunity for them. But again, it's something that I've never filmed, and I would be okay filming that, because I feel like once the spirit has left the body, it's off on its brand new adventure, and that animal is, in most cases, not even looking back. And I feel like their bodies are just kind of like us taking off a suit. So I don't feel like there's any sense of desecration or inappropriateness of filming something like that. But Jamie said that she felt like our volunteers don't all share my view on death and afterlife, and that for them it may be painful. And so I decided not to record that tonight. Instead, you're watching my bike ride home. I try to bike in and bike out every day that the weather will let me, so that I'm not adding to the ozone in the environment and pollution. And I certainly need the exercise. Although I find it funny because Gail is thin as a reed. I bet she doesn't weigh 90 pounds soaking wet. She's my age. Man, this is scary right through here. She eats like nothing you have ever seen. And so I thought, well, she must just get a lot more exercise than I do. And that's why she's so thin and I'm so fat. So now we're both wearing the Up band by Jawbone. Actually, she's wearing it, Jamie's wearing it, I'm wearing it, my mother's wearing it. And we've all made each other teammates. And I bought one for Howie today. This is not a big cat rescue expense. This is something I paid for. And Gail paid for her own. Jamie paid, or actually Justin paid for Jamie's. But I thought, it's a great way for us to kind of encourage each other to get enough sleep, because it measures your sleep, and to get enough exercise. And what I found is I get as much exercise as I suspected as Gail does. And I know I don't eat a tenth of what she eats. So it's got to be the difference in our metabolism. And I suspect the same is true with Jamie. She probably has more of my metabolism. Of course, I should be believing in the secret and telling myself that I have a wonderful metabolism and that it burns off this fat. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to think positively now. Because life is beautiful. Man, everywhere I look, it's just gorgeous. Even that stick hitting me right in the head. Thankfully, I'm wearing a really nice leopard print helmet that Jamie gave me.